Well, hello everybody. So I have my wonderful friend here, Cecilia, beautiful biomes. And this live is just to have a conversation to see what she's been up to. And she's going to talk to us about also what's been going on in terms of she did you said you did Kundalini, a Kundalini yoga. Is that what it is?
So it was not exactly a yoga session, but it was a spiritual healing session.
Spiritual healing. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
There you
related to,
go.
it's like related to Kundalini yoga. Yeah, and
Good.
mhm. So yeah, it was really a lot more than I ever could have imagined would happen as a result of it, because I thought, okay, the person who actually her name is Jaya. If anyone's interested in like looking her up, I can send you a link later if you want to
Yes,
share that later.
please. I would be interested too. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, she's great. So basically it was like a guided, she explained certain things to me, then we did a meditation, guided meditation, and the whole idea was that so she explained that it was spiritual, and obviously everyone has their own belief system, and but it's all about, you don't have to have any particular religion, you don't have to, it has nothing to do with religion, but
Oh,
it's sort of,
wow.
yeah, which is great. Like it's your own, whatever you think of as, maybe if you think of there's a higher power or like a source that we all are connected to, that's very helpful. You know, if someone does think that, it doesn't matter where it comes from, which I thought was great.
That's amazing. So tell us how it was. Was it online?
Yeah, we did it through Zoom. And so she explained it to me. Then we did, so here, there are a couple of steps. Like first, she sort of helped me she asked me like, what was my goal? What did I want to do with this? And I had been feeling a lot of anxiety. And this is something like in my whole life I've dealt with, and, pretty much my whole life.
Of course.
But lately I've been having like extra lot more anxiety as I'm doing my healing work with food, with raw foods. I think it makes sense that I'm having more, because I'm becoming more clear. I'm becoming more aware of things, which that food has a tendency to do. I would imagine you probably agree because you're
Oh,
doing it
yes.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's amazing. Like how the brain fog starts to lift, and you
Oh
start to
my gosh.
see things differently.
Yes.
And it can be hard. Like it's not necessarily going to be a walk in the park, like the demons come back and, you know,
Oh, yes.
sometimes, right? Depending on what you're going through.
Yes.
And just like old thoughts and old patterns might show up, and you're sort of navigating it all.
Oh,
And
yes.
I was really starting to get stressed out by like all the anxiety, obviously, because it was making it hard for me to function normally. Like I could do the things I was doing, but having all this internal turmoil isn't fun. So I was saying, it has to do with my boundaries, but also just for whatever reason, this anxiety, like it's almost like a PTSD sort of reaction to some childhood things, which also started to surface, especially after doing the exercise with her, doing the meditation with her. Um, so that was my goal. I just thought, okay, I want to have work on the boundaries, making them stronger, and it's kind of like about being able to own the space we take up in the world, is the way that I see it. So that's
Yeah.
my experience, like to be awake and aware, and what I realized after and in the days that followed, today's my 10th day since doing it, and I've been keeping track of the days, because that's part of it.
Oh,
For 10 days, like she said, it would take about 10 days for it to really set in, and today's that 10th day.
wow.
Yeah, which is pretty amazing. Good day to have the talk, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, it's like, so I won't try to explain like exactly the whole thing, but it had to do with aligning the chakras. Like I'm not going to go through every single step, but I'll just say it had to do with aligning the chakras, which she taught me how to do, which I can really feel it happening. It's so great. And also connecting to Mother Earth, feeling rooted, like to actually, and like I said, we all have our own beliefs. I mean, we all know we're on the earth and everything. Some people may tend to have like what is it called? Like a dissociation, where they feel like they're in their head a lot, or they're sort of floating out of their body almost. It feels like
Yes.
noticing where you are. It might be like a stressful situation, the anxiety, whatever's going on, and you're not focused, you're not there almost, even though you're physically there. So this was the groundedness is for this, like to be aware. And one of the things like she explained to me is that this is beyond energy healing, because with energy healing, she's explaining like one thing, if somebody's psychic and they are doing a psychic reading, they say they're psychic and they can read your subconscious.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, this might be part of the work she's doing in the spiritual healing, but it is actually beyond it, is the way she explained it, because with energy healing, it has to do with karma, it has to do, and I don't fully understand, but I'll tell you my limited understanding of it.
of course.
Yeah, so it has to do with like, there's limitations. And so on the plane of the spiritual healing, it's like the God plane, but you don't have to believe in God, but it's the impossible plane, or that's not the word she used, but basically where anything's possible, where it's just beyond karma, beyond everything, because it has to do with, in her belief, like archangels and
I love
in
that.
beautiful light entities, of,
Mm.
yeah, like at one point she said like Archangel Uriel was putting like magnetic paint on my feet to help me be grounded to the earth, and I could feel all of it. And at the end she said there were two little birds like Snow White, like she showed me a cartoon image of Snow White. She said they came to bless me and one was on each shoulder. It was really cool, like, and I
Oh
really
my
felt this
gosh.
deep connection. Yeah, it was so neat. And so we went through this whole thing, aligning the chakras, learning a mantra, which was, I'll tell you basically, it's pretty short. It was, I am here, you are there. And then it's, let's see, I am here, you are there. Um, that's your story.
The story, yes.
That's not my story. Where I cannot affect change, I withdraw my energy. And in this way, I am able to be of service to all without harming myself.
Oh wow.
And then she explained to me, this doesn't mean that you're not helping, talking about every people who are empathic, but she said she doesn't like that word, and I agree, because we don't want to be empathing everything constantly, feeling so deeply. That's what happens sometimes with the energy work, or
I
what
agree.
other ways. Yeah, and I never thought about it this way. I didn't think we could go beyond this. I thought, okay, I'm empathic and I feel these feelings and I just have to accept it. But she explained that actually you can feel for other people, but don't be drowning in their energy, in their emotions. Like
In their
you
emotions, yeah.
so by that mantra is exactly that. Like, I'm here, I'm a separate entity, and I'm grounded to the earth and also to the father of like whatever the sun, and whatever you look at it as, like you're getting the light from the heart of Mother Earth, which is part of the whole meditation we did, coming up and into your heart, and then going up into the cosmos, and then the light is raining back down on you, back into the heart. So it's like this connection between Mother Earth
I
and
love
the
it.
sun. It was so beautiful. Yeah, really just amazing. And um, every day I'm doing this, and I got a recording, so I can listen, keep this forever and listen to it over and over again. So every morning I do the meditation, and soon I'll get to what results I've noticed. But just wrap it up by saying with the meditation, there's like this, I can listen to how she's explaining everything. She explained something about energy, like we have a lot when we're grounded and we're not just constantly leaving. And she got like a download saying that I'm going to be noticing more and more that I'm leaving and bring myself right back. And I've definitely noticed that in the 10 days. Like now I'm aware of when I'm starting to sort of drift away, or, mentally
Oh,
drift.
like your mind just goes somewhere else?
Yes, yeah, that's basically what it
Ah,
is. And so grounding myself and bringing myself back. And one of the things I've noticed is in conversations that might be difficult, which in the past 10 days I've had somewhere, in the past I would just not know what to say maybe. And this is not with clients, but this is just like in my personal life.
yeah,
With clients, it's very specific and I know how to do those things. It's
of
very
course.
different. Yeah, so in the personal life, when more emotional stuff might come up or just more complicated stuff, I found myself just able to very clearly understand what I wanted to say, very clear. And this is a struggle I've had my whole life, for whatever reasons with childhood traumatic events. different things that had happened. And, you know, everybody gets trained to be a certain way. And my reaction would be to sort of just not be very present. And so now for the first time ever in my life, I'm able to rein it in. Like when it starts to happen, I'm bringing it in, and I'm still learning, but it was super powerful for me to have this experience with this whole spiritual healing. And not only am I now finding I can be, and also not getting emotional, like I can answer more clearly, know what I want to say, not like I can listen to the other person and I'm not getting emotional. I'm not getting upset. You know, something might bother me, whatever, but I'm able to just respond in a way coming from myself, understanding and being completely conscious. That is you. That's your story, exactly like the mantra. And okay,
Mm.
sure, sure. In the past, like I can listen and I can answer, but in the past, I would have been like, oh, you know, trying to get the person to understand my point of view, but
Oh, you
there's no
understand
need for that.
me. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, like there's really no need for that because they have their story, they have their way of relating, and I have my experience and my story. And it's like when we can do that and we can be a separate, just step back and just be our own, take our own space and understand our own, that we're here, I'm connected, and I can speak from my own experience, and I can appreciate your experience, and I can respect your experience. And we might not agree, but we can also have a civil communication about it, and hopefully something that's effective at a resolution or whatever the situation might be, or just maybe it's just talking and sharing ideas and all that.
That's right. I love that because the mantra you mentioned, is it okay if I share it with
Oh,
the people? Because I think you sent me a a message with it,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'll try it on me too. But yes, we I would definitely love to share the information about this lady that helped you because I
Mhm.
found it could help a lot of people. And you were talking about anxiety, and I deal with anxiety too. And well, I had anxiety all my life. I would say with
Yeah.
this lifestyle, it's helping to just keep things calmer, you know, with the lifestyle that we both have. Of course, there's days that there's going to be stronger emotions, and there's going to be some emotional detox stuff from the past coming up, and then you're going to feel stress and you want to feel like eating cooked food. Or
Hmm.
in my case, popcorn
I can relate. Yeah, I know what you mean.
or
Yeah.
chocolate.
Chocolate. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Exactly, like those chocolate I was mentioning to you, that you mentioned to me the other time, those little raw vegan chocolates. I
Hmm.
bought the bag, but I finished the whole bag like quickly.
Yeah, I did that yesterday.
Oh, you did that. Well, there you go. We have our stuff, you know, but
Yeah.
at least we know what's happening. And do you feel like more calm? Like I know it's you said it's day 10 for you today, but do you feel like you're more like in charge, like more like in power, like standing in your powers? Like, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm doing is that she taught me about, there's some apps out there. It was hard for me to find the app. If anybody does this, I can help you find it because there aren't that many out there. But it's an app that just has a little tiny ding. It's not an alarm like your phone, you can set an alarm. This is just a
Mm.
ding, and nobody even knows what it is. Nobody's going to notice. Every hour that will go off. And at first I was like, wow, that's like 10 times the whole day. And she still does it. She still does it. And it's been years since she learned about this meditation and doing this, but she said she still does it to keep herself grounded. And what it does is it reminds you about your she calls it the red boots, your ethereal, and it's not, she didn't make this up. It was Byron Gentry, she said, is the guy who he used to see things in numbers, I guess. I don't think he's still alive, but he
Mm.
would understand things in numbers, and uh, there's all kinds of stuff about it. It was really interesting, but I still haven't looked him up, but I would like to. And so every time that ding goes off, I'm remembering, oh yeah, I have my red boots on. You might picture it in whatever color. And it has to do with the whole well, it wasn't that long. The whole thing was about an hour thing that she did with me, where she helped me set my uh, chakras and set everything, and the connection and the grounding and all this. And so every time that ding would go off, she said, it's not something you have to think about. It's already inside of you because we did the whole meditation, we did everything. Because she did her healing work too, in as well as whatever I was learning and doing. And so this will go off every hour. And yes, so in answer to your question, it is calming me because it reminds me, and sometimes it goes off or even in between, I'm like, oh, I'm doing it again, like I'm drifting off mentally, you know, where I'm not
You're like,
focused.
"Ooh," yeah,
Yeah. And I'll just right away, like because we did all this stuff, it just, I remind myself, I feel that connection with the roots, like roots coming from my feet, going down to the earth, and then the light from the heart of the Mother Earth going up to the sun and the Father, Son, or whatever you want to call. Some people might believe it's God or whatever they believe
yeah.
is into your heart, you know. And I do believe in like a universal energy, actually, that
Me
we
too.
all are part of. Like I very strongly believe that.
I love
Um,
that.
yeah, and so I do feel it really calms me down. It's something, and it really centers me again. Like when I start to, if it's things are difficult or I start to feel like I'm drifting away
Way.
from my
Or
focus.
so when you meditate, like when you were grounding yourself, did you like did you see like in your head the like your like how do you call that again? The roots going up your feet, like grounding you, like pulling your energy or giving you energy of light. Did you visualize? Did you see anything in your mind?
Yeah, I actually could see what the Mother Earth looked like, and she had like a face, and it was beautiful. Like especially when we did it the first time, but I keep remembering her every time now when I do every morning I do the meditation. So it's you're aligning your first you're doing the let's see, you're getting all grounded, getting in and breathing, and each chakra you're working on separately. She taught me how to spin it in the right direction and all this stuff, which is pretty cool. And I'll envision, yeah, the face of Mother Earth and the roots, and my heart is like a rose, and it's like this whole thing that gets huge and it's around you, and it gets roots, like the rose grows roots and goes down to Mother Earth, and it was really cool.
Wow, I
And
love that.
mhm,
I
it
think
was
I did
really,
something similar to that in the past. It's just that it's good to see what she taught you, you know, because yeah,
yeah, it's, and then another thing that's happening, which is a little, you may not, it's hard to put into words, but I'll try to, things from my childhood and past are becoming very clear to me, but it's not that I didn't know before. I knew it before, but there was some brain, it's not even brain fog. It's like denial or just too trauma, pain of not being able to look at it very clearly. And
press
now,
it.
yeah, now I'm not saying like everything's perfect and now everything looks great.
Yes.
Seeing things, and I'm seeing them in a different, very different lens, and I'm understanding this happened. It is very different from what I was allowing myself to think it was. Like it's more, um, I'm just more accepting of it and looking at it instead of like, it was in my subconscious. I knew about it consciously, but I didn't think anything about it because it was too painful for me to think about it. And now I'm able to look at it with open eyes. So I don't know
Nice.
helps, but hopefully that helps you to understand sort of what the
Yes,
experience a
it's
little.
like it's funny. It's because maybe because of our old lifestyle or the way our lives were before, it's like we couldn't see everything. It's like the how do you call this one again? The that chakra,
Oh, the third
third
eye,
eye.
which is, yeah, that's one of them that we worked on. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
all
like
of
it had
love.
some dust in it, but now it's like we can see, but we can see clearly now, but see
Mhm.
clearly the past and our childhood. It's like it's been dust away, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh, do you understand now? Can you see
I
why
love
it
that.
was like that before? In a way, that's how I feel too. It's like with this lifestyle too. It's like it's helping me see this whole universe a different way, like this dimension a whole different way. It's like I can see and understand why certain things happened in the past and the things that I have suppressed when I was a child, they're coming back up, but I can see them clearly now. It's like
Yeah.
that is so weird.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, because it's almost as if for me in my experience anyway, what you thought to be the limitations of my life, what I thought were limitations, like this is the way that my perception is. This is the way that my experience just is. This is how I am. And I'm a little muddied and I don't know why, but I am. Now I know why because things are becoming clear to me. And then I can step through and heal from that. And it's no longer a problem. It's something I still have to navigate. It may be painful at times,
Yeah.
but like when it becomes clear like that, it's so different. It's like you can look at it from a different perspective and you can
Different
actually
perspective.
love
Yeah.
it, heal from it.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. And have you, because you've been doing this type of meditation and mantras, how's your dreams? Are they more like, as I believe your dreams were already vivid, but are they more vivid now? Do you remember your dreams?
So the dreams have been, some of them were a little bit, and I've had troubling dreams before where it's like a problem or thing that I may not feel the best or whatever. So I've definitely had some more like that. And she said, you may have some really weird dreams. And I definitely, they seem very symbolic now, like extremely symbolic, like in almost like the whole thing is just a symbol, like something will happen and then it's over, like a short little thing.
Short,
Uh,
yeah.
so yeah. Yeah, she said I might even dream of her, which I haven't yet, because at nighttime, sometimes people had said to her that they'll go to sleep, they'll dream of her, and like she's doing, and I believe in this too, like some healers can do night work where they're actually
Of
doing
course.
things in their dreams. And um, so yeah, I've always had that kind of at nighttime, especially when I was younger, like as I got older, actually, that became a little more closed off to me. I used to fly around, have flying dreams all the time and very
Oh,
vivid dreams. You did too?
yeah.
Or-
I love
Yeah, that's
that.
so, I loved it. It was like very empowering. Like I could get away from any situation and move on to some other situation. And now it's like I'm, it's only been 10 days since the exercise, but I think it's definitely going to be a really big part of me getting back to that processing at night of being able to see all those things. And I feel like that's a really good way that we process what's in our psyche, what's in our spirit, even beyond this plane.
Beyond this plane, yes, exactly. And before
Yeah.
you go to sleep, do you say anything before going to sleep? To see clearly when you're sleeping, when you're dreaming?
Well, I've been doing guided meditations of different types that are just from YouTube, but I would
Right.
like to start. So as I said, every morning I'm doing this meditation, and she was saying do it at least once a day, but I would like to do it at night too, the same one I do in the morning, because it's changed my day where I have so much more clarity. And I think if I do it at night before bedtime, it will also give me more clarity in my dreams. And so I want to try that. And I'll let you know if it changes anything
I
because
would love to
it
know,
also
yeah.
does.
Do
Mhm.
you believe in all the spirit guides? Like she was mentioning, Archangel Uriel doing stuff on your feet. Do you
Yeah.
believe in the archangels or spirit guides? Because they are technically spirit guides, yeah.
Yeah, I do believe in them. And the way I was brought up is like we didn't have any religion, and my mother and father, like forget about my father because he was like I learned mostly from my mother. Like
Yeah, me too.
you know, he was just like I'm an agnostic. So if this can't be proven to me, then it doesn't exist. So it's sort of like whatever, I understood his perspective, but my mother is the one who maybe talked a little more to us about things. Well, no, they both did. But anyway, with my mother, she's the one who talked more about spiritual things. And I was still confused though, because she wanted to celebrate like the solstice, different things like that. And we sort of
Wow,
did. Yeah, which is cool.
that's so cool.
Very cool. Yeah, because we didn't like her parents, her father, her mother had died, but her father and he remarried. They were Jewish and they were pretty traditional. And so we would go to their house for these Jewish holidays until I was a young teenager. Then my mother just didn't have a connection with him anymore. And so we didn't. But from her, we didn't have much. Okay, so when I was young, she told me, especially when I was really young, like she wanted to do all these things for me, like when you're 12 or when you get your period, your first period, she wants to celebrate it and have all this stuff. And I was like, no way, like, oh, I'm not gonna, she explained to me like what that all meant. And like we would have a party because that's maybe what they used to do in the traditions of maybe paganism. I don't know enough about it, but I think
Yeah.
so. Um, and so it's a cool concept for sure. But at that age, I didn't want to do
Were you like a
that.
teenager or
Yeah. Well, when she told me about it, I was probably close, maybe I was like a preteen. So
preteen?
like,
Wow.
and So we didn't, we sort of, she told me about this stuff, but we didn't actually do it. I can't remember what your exact question was though, if I was,
Oh, it was mostly if you believed in the
okay.
spirit guides. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And so she would talk about all this stuff and I did believe, I did learn about it. I did believe it. Like she talked about people being psychic and spirits and guardian angels watching over you and that kind of stuff. So, but yes, and I did like that. And I do believe it. I do believe it and I do feel connections. Sometimes, you know, I might just be in my car and I definitely feel like there's somebody sitting next to me or they, you
Same.
know, that kind of thing. And it's
Oh,
like, and I
wow.
get a little scared sometimes at nighttime. I'm like, what is going on? You know, like, but it's cool, you know, to, or in a room. And I think if you feel that feeling, that it is something, you know?
Oh my God, I'm glad we're having this conversation because, me too. Like everything you're saying, it's not crazy because I've experienced that too. And same thing at night, you're like, I feel like somebody's here, but it's not negative. It's like a beautiful feeling, like something warm, and
Yeah.
yeah, a good presence. And I find it's really cool that your mom talked to you about this when you were like a preteen, and because I learned mostly about this when I was in my mid-20s. At
Mhm.
first, she was telling me about angels, but she was more on the Catholic side and also like the voodoo part, which has a
Yeah.
little bit of Archangel Michael in it, but there was too much darkness that I saw that like I blocked it. But what
Mhm.
you said is like the solstice and all this, that's paganism, yes. And I
Yeah.
started studying that in my mid-20s, and I love that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and she talked to us about it also when we were younger, but the preteen like was when she was talking about when you get your period, you know, all
Yeah,
of that
of
stuff.
course.
But before that, she talked to me to all me and my siblings about like if I had a bad dream. I remember one time she would explain to me like that it's now, I don't remember how exactly she said it, but she said it's going out the window. It's somebody's, not somebody, but somehow this is all being taken up and that I'm having somebody who's watching over me or something like that. And it's gonna, those bad dreams are all gone. They just all flew out the window. That's sort of the way she would speak. And it was
Mm,
comforting, you know, like things like that.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And in your do you remember your dream the past 3 days? Like yesterday, do you remember what you saw in your dreams or
I haven't been remembering them the past couple of days. What will happen to me is I will remember them quite vividly if I wake up in the middle of the night. And I
ah,
used to journal them, and so I would have such vivid memories written down. But I haven't done that. I need to start doing that again. I once, when I was,
good.
yeah, it's so powerful, and I used to do it. And when I was in my early 20s, I had my first son. I think he was about a year old. A friend of mine worked for a cable TV station, and it was called America's Talking. And they, she was a producer, my friend's cousin. She was a producer on the station, and needed guests on these different shows. And I was on this show called State of Mind. Actually, they started it out called Am I Nuts? And
I
then they
love it.
decided to change it because it was a psychiatrist or a psychologist and a behavioral therapist were the hosts, and then the guest would be there, and they had one about dreams, and I was describing all these dreams to them, and they were just like so shocked at how vivid the dreams were. And it's true, like I wasn't making anything up. It was in Technicolor, like those Technicolor movies, these dreams I would have. And I have those sometimes still, but it's pretty rare to have such vivid dreams lately. But I think they're happening. I'm just not writing them down and I'm forgetting them. Even sometimes I'll remember something, wake up, and then maybe even a few minutes later, it's completely gone from my
It's
memory
gone. Yeah.
if you don't write it down or something.
Then there's a trick they say that if you really want to remember them, like if you wake up in the middle of the night, they say to it was a spiritual teacher that told me this, have a notebook next to your head when you're sleeping, and in the middle of the night, write it down and then fall back to sleep. It's a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a dream book too, a dream dictionary, and also a dream diary that I used to, write my dreams, but it's been a while too.
Mhm.
But yeah, I understand because sometimes me too, I remember them and then I don't remember them. Or I wake up and it's like the dream continues when I go back to sleep. I don't know if it has ever happened to you.
I've had that happen too. And dreams, I actually have, and I find such comfort in dreams. And I just remembered also this is kind of just a fun little thing. I have this essential, or it's a perfume made with natural plants. It's not essential oil.
Oh,
It's actually really perfume from a company, a woman. It's just one woman, I think, who I found her on Etsy. It's called For Strange Women. Not the number four, but FOR, For Strange Women. So if you
ooh.
look up, it might be forstrangewomen.com, or maybe if you look up For Strange Women Etsy, she has different perfumes she makes, like in the real tradition of how they would make perfume, using a lot of plant matter and putting things in it like naturally to so the scent would be long lasting. And she
Oh,
has one called Lucid Dreams, and I bought it. And sometimes I put that on at night, like on the third eye. And I haven't done that in a while, but I do have that, and it's kind of fun. I don't know if it works or not, but she puts in like plants that are uh, supposed to be traditionally known for helping with dream recall and also lucid dreaming, which I've had since I was like probably a few months, maybe a year old. I remember lucid dreams. Like
oh, when you were
it,
a baby.
yes, like I would go. So what I remember, when I was very little, I think I was about one. My mother told me this story. I don't really remember the story, but we had a balcony, like we lived in Israel, and the way the building was, that's where I was born. There was some sort of balcony of some kind. I mean, I guess obviously they have them in everywhere, not just in Israel. But some way that I could get out. I don't even know how I got out. I must have been taking a nap, and there's like an entry to get outside through the apartment we lived in. And she just ran downstairs because I was taking a nap. And I went out onto the balcony, and she saw me, and I was hanging onto something like a bar, something, whatever it was. And if I let go, I would fall. And she's like, don't let go, don't let go. And I let go. And she said we were on the third floor, 3 stories, and she caught me, which sounds crazy. Like, I mean, crazy. But this is real life, not a dream. But then I
Yes.
had a dream based on that every day, or frequently. I would have a recurring dream, and it was lucid dream because I was able to control certain things in it. It would be the same dream all the time where I was standing and it was dark, like in the just dark. There wasn't much around me. And I dropped my sweater on the floor. My grandfather made sweaters. He had a company where he started selling sweaters. He opened and it became like a sweater factory when he moved to the United States. He was a Holocaust survivor, and he actually came with very little. They moved to Sweden. They were there, and then came to the United States. But anyway, in this dream, it was one of the sweaters, because he would always give us all these sweaters from his business. And I dropped the sweater on the floor, and then I was afraid to get the sweater. I wanted somebody to come with me. And my teacher from nursery school was there, standing there. And she said, no, you can do it yourself. You can get the sweater yourself. And I knew if I did that, something was going to happen. And I was like, no, no, I really need you to help. And I was in such turmoil. And she says, like, no, she's like teaching me to do it myself. And I would get to the sweater, put my hand down and touch the sweater. And the minute I touched the sweater, I would be falling in space with stars and just falling. And every time, like it would happen over and over. And I learned that I could touch my eye, but I was going into a special room. There was a button on the wall to press the button so I could get out of the dream, but I was actually touching my eye and it would wake me up. So that's
Hi.
like a lucid dream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you were trying. It's like, wow, you found the exit to get out of the dream.
Yeah. And I did. And in Israel, they had nursery at 1 year old. Like they called it nursery school. I'm trying to remember if that's when it was. It was somewhere between 1 and 3 years old. I started having the dream. And I think I was 1 to 2 when I fell from the balcony.
The balcony. Oh my
So it's really
God.
interesting.
That's really interesting because me too, sometimes when I feel there would be some time when I would have dreams and I felt threatened in that dream and I knew it was a dream. And it's like I told myself, wake up. This is not the real world. Wake up. And I would wake up. I would get
Oh,
out of the
yeah,
dream.
totally a lucid dream. Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
awesome.
Or what would happen, it would be I would be in a dream in a dream. I don't know if
Mm,
you ever saw
I've
the
had
movie
that.
with Leonardo DiCaprio, Inception.
I don't know if I've seen it.
You should see it. I'm gonna send you
Okay,
the
I
link. You should see it. It's on Netflix.
definitely.
It's like
Is it
you're
on
in a
Netflix?
dream.
Okay,
Yes. In a
okay.
dream, in another dream. It's like
I
you're
love
really
that.
like different level. It happened
Mhm.
to me a couple of times. I was in a dream and that dream was threatened, but I woke up, but I was still dreaming. But in
Yes,
reality, I was better. But I'm like, wait, this is still not real. Okay, I'm not awake. But then I would really wake up. I'm like, whoa, I was like 2 levels down.
it's so
Or,
cool.
right?
I've had that happen where I was trying to tell somebody about my dream, but I was in a dream. Oh, I just had this dream, and I'll start explaining, and then I realize I'm in a dream when I'm telling. It's so interesting, and yeah, there's one of the things that Jaya told me. It's a little hard for me to even wrap my head around, so but I'll try to explain. It's similar to what you were just saying. In real life, though, realizing she says like there's different timelines, different versions of our life that are happening.
That's right.
And she would realize, or one time she realized she was in a, and I don't want to butcher what she said, but I'll try to say, in the wrong timeline. And she actually recentered herself using like the exercise we talked about, or whatever, maybe other things too, I don't know. And realized she's actually in the wrong life. And I actually realized that today, in the past 10 days, not that I'm in, it's not the wrong life, but it's like the Matrix, she said in a way, or I mean, I think I said that. And
Yep,
she's like, maybe sort of, because that's the concept, right? If in the Matrix, it's like they're living a certain life, but actually something else is happening.
that's
And
right.
that's how I see it with the awareness I was telling you about. And that with you talking about the dreams, it's sort of the same thing. All these different awarenesses. And I feel like dreams are another plane of, I think a lot of stuff happens there that is just as real as the living
Well,
day.
yes, some people are saying that when you see it, when in dreams, when you see yourself, like she was saying, there's multiple versions of us, right? Um, they call it the multiverse in a way. The
Mhm.
multiverse. You're seeing different versions of yourself. So you're seeing different Cecilias, what's happening
Right.
in their life. But you're dreaming of them, but it's you, but it's actually another Cecilia, but in another dimension.
Yes.
But and what I was taught too is that when you're meditating and you want to like better your life, you can also meditate on your other versions of yourself and say, hey, let's all join in together
Yeah.
and increase the frequency in all of our lives. So there was sometimes I would do meditation where I would just close my eyes and talk to myself, but also like send out a message to the other Lucys out there, like in the multiverse. Said, well,
Yeah.
if mom is alive in your reality, please take care of her. Make sure that she has a nice juice or juice fast. I was literally saying that
Oh,
a couple of months ago to another version of myself and saying, well, if mom isn't around in your reality, make sure that you do some juices for her, introduce her to this lifestyle so that she can regenerate her cells. That's what I said, and
oh wow.
I went to sleep. Yeah,
That's so cool.
that's why a teacher said like you can talk to multiple versions of yourself because the more you spread that out, the more for you too, your reality starts glowing too. And yeah.
Yeah, it can affect you not here and now, like what we started with when I first sat down with her doing this Zoom session, is to go back to my childhood at whatever age you choose. And I think I chose like around 5 years old. And what do you see? What do you look like? What's going on for you? And I noticed, okay, that I'm like very jumpy, but not physically jumpy, but there's something in my energy that's very jumpy. And it said, it's kind of like what we were talking about with like, not being grounded and always kind of wanting to leave your thoughts or whatever. And so,
Exactly.
yeah. And so I spoke to that little child, and she said to tell her it is safe for us to be grounded, to be rooted to the earth. And I told her that, and that was like how we started the whole thing. And she said, now that was like what did she call it? Something that was just an offshoot of what this reality, it was just something that went off a little bit. And now she's integrated back into you. So when you're doing this with your mother and all that, there's something inside, I think, too, that's like integrated. that might have felt, yeah, healing. It's like a healing, you know?
It's a healing. But it's like you were saying, you saw this child version of you. Because basically in we call it the quantum world, time doesn't exist, right? Your past is
Yeah.
still happening.
Right.
It's
I
still
believe that
happening.
too.
So it's like in a way you went back in time, but not really. But whoever the Cecilia is in that timeline,
It's
she
still,
she could feel your presence in a way. So it's like the future, present, uh, the past, future, no, past, present, future, all happening at the same time.
yeah. And I think I feel that, and we feel that when we have memories, because when you, I don't know if this is how it is for you, but
Yes.
you have a memory and you really are there, it feels like.
Yes.
Like I can go back, not always, it depends on what it is, but it's amazing to me. I've always found that fascinating.
It's fascinating, huh?
Be able to feel like you're really right there.
Exactly. Oh my God, such a wonderful conversation because it's something that well, you can't really talk to it to just anybody. They'll say you're crazy,
Yeah, I know.
and and some people that have different belief will, well, I'm not saying different belief, but some people, yeah, they will say they will think you're crazy or yeah, they'll shut you down. You can't really have this conversation, but it's great
Mhm.
that we're talking about this because sometimes it can feel quite lonely when you experience those type of things, but you're like, who can I talk to about this? Like how, like, but I'm glad we have our community where we can just share those things, and it's
Yeah.
important to talk about it. And that lady that helped you, wow,
Mm.
um, she said a lot of valuable things to you. Uh,
Yeah. She really, she really did. It's so beyond like what I ever expected, because she told me what to expect and she has like some information on her website and everything. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, we'll see. But then it really is happening, just having a lot more joy, because um it's going to keep unfolding, for years and years, everything. It's a journey, you know. But I'm noticing so quickly, like it's only been 10 days. Here, how can I explain it? So I wasn't always able to enjoy little things like the sun shining, little moments, like I'd feel sort of dissociated or whatever. Um, and I would tell people about this and talk to people about this, and I would say like um, that I've had just very tiny little windows of feeling very present and joyful and happy. And now, just in 10 days, so many more, like more than I've had in years has happened in 10 days of really being present, really feeling again, like really feeling that connection. It's really happened for me. Like I really do
More
think that
powerful, huh? You feel
yeah,
it more.
it's I feel yeah, more, it's affected me, my level of happiness. It is bringing me joy, like more joy than I've had in a long time. I guess is the simple way to say it.
So it's like
Hmm.
you're aligning yourself too, because you said you're working on the chakras. So it's like you're aligning all of them. And
Hmm.
the more they're aligned, the better you feel centered.
Yeah, and then I think for people too, she was saying she liked to use the word healers, people that sort of have healing tendencies rather than an empath, because if you're a healing type of person, but you can do that without empathing everything. I think I started talking about that in the beginning.
Yeah.
Um, she was talking about a certain chakra, and I think it's the um, what is it? I still am learning about chakras because
What color is it?
it's the one at the bottom, the one closest,
Oh,
like
the root?
spine, the root chakra, that's it.
Yes.
I think that can be hard for people that are healers, is what she was saying. So that one especially, I feel really powerfully is getting the work. The
I can
most
relate.
difficult one, yeah, is like, and the most, and it could be also about, that's also where you have, I don't remember if it's that or the solar plexus for like, I think the solar plexus for
Stomach.
confidence.
Yes.
Yeah, like below the rib cage, the stomach. Confidence, like that one's another one I've had trouble with, and it's the stronger it feels, the better it feels. We talked about, oh, so another thing, okay, so two things. My heart chakra, there was like armoring, protection, and sadness that was leaving. And she's like, it'll continue. That armor will start to dissolve more and more as you're doing the work. And then the other thing I was going to say is, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
something.
that's okay.
Yeah, but it's just cool to see it all unwind and
That's amazing because if anybody wanted to do like meditation on each chakras, there's some on YouTube too that is dedicated for each chakras, like binaural beats.
oh
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, like 528 hertz. I think that one is for the solar plexus, but they have different frequencies.
yeah, so
And
great.
yeah, there's so many on YouTube, and sometimes I do them too at night or when I wake up in the morning, I concentrate on one chakra. But like you were saying, the root chakra, that's one of them. That one, I think, that's the one that's been healing a lot lately. That's the reason why I've been drawn to red. And
Ah,
with the detox journey, it brought the phoenix rising, and it's like my root chakra is healing. And suddenly I'm drawn to the color red and I feel like
ah.
a phoenix.
And
My
you have
whole
that.
room is in red pretty much.
I love your red, the red of your top that
Yeah,
you're wearing there too. I was noticing.
exactly. And I'm getting more in touch with orange because orange is the sacral chakra. So this one is still kind
Mm.
of healing. This one
Hmm.
has trauma in there too. But the solar plexus, this one I've had to do a lot of work there too because this is where you suppress all your emotions and what is a lot of, yeah, a lot of emotional buildups there.
Yeah, color is so important, and I that makes me think like I wore black for so long, only black, and it's was been hard for me to wear colors, and I'm trying to wear more color because I think it's so important and so healing to have different colors. I still love black, like it's my
Me
favorite
too.
clothing color, but I want to wear co other colors too, like just mix it up
Right?
more.
I like the what you're wearing. Is it like a pink
Oh, thanks.
orange?
Yeah, and I didn't really wear pink. It's yeah, it's a little bit of a peachy pink. Yeah,
I
I
like it.
didn't.
It's very colorful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very warm, like it's a nice warm color. Um, oh, what you were saying, I remembered what I was going to say before when you were talking about the binaural beats. I actually remembered too.
Mm,
One other cool thing she was saying about that those frequencies. I think it's sort of related. She was saying that it's a quote from Jesus. This guy Byron Gentry taught about the units of energy. So basically, the quote from Jesus, I don't remember it exactly, but it was something like the it's not spirit or soul, but the prophet listens to the commands of the mind, what your mind is telling you. So you're the prophet, I guess, or Jesus was the prophet. I'm not sure.
yeah.
I need to look at it more. It's so what Byron Gentry taught, the guy who saw everything in numbers, and this is where the meditation came from, that we have 108,000 units of energy that our field can process at every second in time, every moment or every second. And we're not really using it. But the minute we tell ourselves, this is what she said, and as part of it, I command my field, or something like this, like to process 108,000 units of energy per second, and you're grounded to the earth, and and then you feel it happen. And she's like, it's super powerful. And then you can say, for only 5 seconds, you can say, I command my field to take in or to process 1 million units of energy. And for 5 seconds, you count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're getting the million, and then that's like a reserve for 5 hours. That was the whole thing. So it's like you're just telling your body, it's not, our mind is so powerful, you know?
Wow.
So it's not like some kind of magic thing or whatever. It makes
No.
so much sense. It's such logic. It's so
Oh
logical.
my gosh. Oh, I
Mhm.
just have goosebumps. I love what you said.
Yeah. And it's
It's,
like, if
oh,
you're
go ahead.
having trouble in the day, or you're having, like, you can remind yourself about all this energy, which is all around us, that we really do have the ability to harness and to utilize and to be strong and feel, not only so you feel you're grounded and you're held up by the earth, but at the same time you're standing strong. So you're not weak, you're supported, but you're also strong, which is what, it's almost like reparenting yourself, right? But you understand, like, the earth has you, like you're part, we're allowed to be here like a tree, like instead of being afraid, like, I can't take up this space, I can't have this energy the way I feel now, and I'm beginning to feel more and more every day. Yes, I am part of the cosmic order of things, and I'm part of this earthly plane, and I will take up the space, and I will be using this energy.
Oh my God, I love this. Thank you for the reminder. It's stuff that I used to hear about in the past, but sometimes you just like, this is a huge reminder you just said. Like, I'm like, wow, it's amazing. She gave you a lot of amazing information, and it's true what you just said. It's
Mhm.
I used to be more in touch with that in the past and saying those type of things. And
Yeah, and remembering and
yeah, and just recently, well, actually, I tried it last night because it's something that I had again forgotten, but it's like I got the reminder. It's this book that my stepdad gave me in the past, and it was saying how to train your mind and connect it with your body and everything. So it,
Mhm.
it would be something that you would tell yourself before going to bed, so that you get your answers from your spirit guides or whoever's watching you. So basically, before you go to bed, you would say, whatever I'm not understanding, or if I'm not understanding certain things, please come forward and let me know how there'll be a specific way to say it, like please enlighten me, give me the answers that I need so I can understand this better.
Mhm.
Or please give me the answers that I need for tomorrow. So you say something like that to your higher self or your body before going to sleep, and then you say, and so it is. And then when you go to sleep, you dream, and your dreams become really vivid, and it's like you get an answer, or you get your answer during the day, which either somebody is saying something and like, oh, I just got my answer, or you turn on the radio or there's music playing, you get your answer through the music, or it's like a bit
Yeah,
like we're saying, we have access to so many different type of
and
energy.
especially when we're open to it, like
Yeah.
for years, you know, my mother had a lot of books. She had hundreds and hundreds of books and about health, and she would listen to radio shows, even about like psychics. There was a psychic that had a radio show. There was
Yeah.
this station that called WBAI in New York, because I grew up in New York City, and I was exposed to all this stuff, but I became really afraid and fearful. And so I did read her books. Like she had a book by Shirley MacLaine, which some people think is like silly, kooky or whatever, but that's or new agey, that term people use. But
Yeah.
it's so cool that I loved the book, and I read it when I was pretty young.
Mm.
I think it was called Out on a Limb by Shirley MacLaine, and she was talking about all these different things having to do with energy, like the stuff we're talking about. And so like I read some of this stuff, but for whatever reason, I became fearful, like it was the unknown. And so I had more psychic
I get it.
experiences, connections when I was younger. And then now I'm in my 40s and 50s. I'm 51 now. I'm opening up again. Like, you know, when you start to remember it again and you open up, and I'm not afraid. And like, I don't know why I was, but for whatever reason, you know.
It happens sometimes. We just go through things and we get afraid. Me too. I was afraid as well at some point. And now it's like I'm reopening the door again, but I feel like it's it's a good thing again, thanks to the detox journey and this lifestyle too. It just opened up my mind even more to go back to the things that I used to that I was taught.
Mhm.
And I'll give you an example. Again, last night before I went to bed, I said that same sentence. Please enlighten me on what I'm supposed to do next. I spoke to my spirit guides before going to bed. And the dream that I had last night, it's like I woke up, but it's like the dream continued. And that dream was it looked so real that when I woke up, I actually was lost. I was like, whoa, um, wasn't that really happening? But that in that dream, it's gonna sound funny. It was this project, and I was invited to go on this spacecraft that was going to take off from Earth.
Oh,
And my family, my brother, my niece were there, and I was invited. They came to pick us up, and we were invited, but I don't know why. But we were still in the air again in the sky, going up slowly, and we were flying above Calgary, Alberta, in Canada.
mhm.
And I had like binoculars where I could see what was happening in the sea. I could see fish in the sea. Like, oh,
Wow.
look at this fish. Oh my God, look at
Oh,
them. Oh
that's so
my God, it's a
cool.
weird fish. Oh wow. It looks so real.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, I think we end up going in space. And in the dream, it's like I woke up in real life, went back to sleep again, but it continued. But in the dream, it's like they sent me back to Earth and I didn't understand why. I was like, wait, I was just in the spaceship not long ago.
Mm,
And then somebody said it's because they erase your memory. They don't want you to remember what you saw.
wow. And that was your whole, wow.
That was the dream. They didn't want you to remember what you saw. Eventually, you'll remember. But I'm like, wait, I forgot something on that spaceship. And next thing you know, I'm back in it. But for a split second, they said, okay, here's the thing you forgot. Now go back. But I was literally seeing myself put in a smaller space shuttle, leaving that big ship there in space and
Mhm.
heading back to Earth. And I was looking from my phone. I was like, I had to take a picture. We're diving back into Earth. I'm like, I'm so amazed. Earth is so beautiful from the outside. Wow, that's what Earth looks like from the outside. And I was like trying to take a picture, trying to take a picture. And then I woke up. And I was like,
That's
that
so
was
cool.
really real.
Hmm.
It was, I'm still in shock right
And I
now.
think, yeah, I know. And there's like a feeling of, I don't know what it was like for you, but like comfort or something in having such a real dream where it sounds incredible. Just, it's beyond earth, like all those colors. I had a dream like that, and I only once actually a really vivid, I've had color dreams, but this one was the most vivid. Sounds sort of different things happen, but it sounds similar to what your experience was like. I mean, what mine was, sounds like your experience was similar to what mine was like, to have such, it's like this, I didn't even know anything like this could be seen. It's called, there's a word for it, like when something is ineffable, where you have no words for it because it's so beyond anything you could ever imagine, you know? I
Yeah.
think, yeah. It's like
Oh
in
my
this dream I
goodness.
had, but I was in my 20s. I was like flying, it's because I would have all these flying dreams and saw all these different colored houses that were really bright, like pastel or very vivid, like what I guess they would say maybe in Florida or maybe Puerto Rico. Like there's certain, it might, I just seem to remember thinking it was either like Florida or maybe Puerto Rico, but I've never been to Puerto Rico. Now, I had never been to Florida then, but now when I was in Key West, I did see this, like a lot of, recently I was in Key West where my daughter lives, like these colorful houses. And this was long ago. I'd never been to Florida. So I was having the dream, flying and just seeing all these different, like a pink house and a like pastel green, all these different things. And then I got over this body of water and I would saw coral and fish and sea life and everything. Every detail, like the colors were just so, so bright. It was like I was right there, but I was flying overhead, but I could see like I had a magnifying glass, like what everything looked like. And the coral was incredible. It was like this coral colored living reef, you know, kind of thing. And then I got to like sand, lots and lots of sand, and I saw, but the feelings when I saw the water and everything in it was such a feeling of absolute bliss and comfort, like your eyes, it was almost like looking at some beautiful food or whatever it was you're going to have, but you're taking it in with your eyes. And then the sand, and I saw people, many, many, many people, like countless people, they were sitting on the beach, the sand, and they had a little like cups or something. They were sifting the sand back and forth, and they were like, they weren't focused on anything except for that sand. Like that's all they were focused on. It was the most peaceful, absolute bliss and peaceful feeling. And that was all there was for miles and miles, is the people doing this with the sand. And that was the dream. And it was like, of all the dreams I've had in 51 years, that was like the most meaningful. And I still don't really know what it meant, but it's something to do with our existence and time and being able to, something where maybe in the future things would be better, because I was going through a hard marriage, my first marriage
Mm.
and first partner that I had. It was such a feeling of comfort. Anyway, I just think these dreams can be amazing.
Oh, they always have a message in them, right? It's
Mhm.
we just have to understand the message because it's like codes. Like
Mhm.
you figure it out what it's mean. Like, okay,
Yep.
hmm. I don't know if you have a dream dictionary at home, but sometimes it's helpful, but you
I've
know,
looked at them, yeah. And I remember, I think you said something about like you used to look at it a lot, but now you feel like you've gotten better at
understanding a bit the message. Sometimes I look at it. I did go this morning about the spaceship. I wanted to understand. what
Hmm.
was going on with the spaceship and stuff, but they were saying it's because good things are coming, or I'm working hard on something, and something I'm attracting a lot of good stuff, but it's still not clear enough. But it was saying that it's a positive thing. But
Hmm.
about that part when they were saying, yeah, you're not gonna remember what you saw. And then I was like, what? You'll remember it someday. But it's just, yeah, it's like codes. Yeah, dreams are codes.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's like the part that's always fascinating me is that it's partly like our subconscious because things that happen during the day, definitely you see symbols in the dreams that are, or things that are not exactly what happened in the day, but then I'll wake up and I'll remember, oh yeah, I must have had this dream because of whatever
Yeah.
happened earlier, because it's got like parallels where it's similar. But then at the same time, I think it's also beyond this plane. So that's what's always mystified me. Like I don't
Yeah,
understand,
it's beyond.
you know,
Exactly.
there's something more to it. It's not just our subconscious. I don't think it's just our subconscious. Yeah, I think it's like a
Exactly.
combination of things.
But I'm just shocked that it's just based again on what I asked before going to bed. I was really like concentrated, said, okay, I need some answers. Please talk to me. And whoever is listening to my spirit guides. And then good night. I'm going to sleep. And this is what happened.
Yeah, that's super
Just
cool.
by doing it, like you were saying, giving a command. I commanded
Yeah.
something, and then that happened.
Hmm.
It's so interesting, and I found that it kind of helps me as well with the whole anxiety, and I feel more calm. I feel like I don't know if it's the same for you. Like you feel like you're not alone, but you feel like you're protected. It's like you're also like more in control of your life. Do you feel like a certain like relief with what
Oh,
you've experienced the last 10 days, or yeah?
with the dreams.
Yeah, dreams and everything else in your life, like what you're doing, meditating, mantras. Do you
Oh
feel
yeah,
like more like, okay, I feel less stress, less, yeah,
supported. Yeah, I
calm.
feel supported. Like there is something beyond me, beyond us, that is definitely has my back. Like is there. Like all
Yeah,
you have to do is ask for it and be. And for years, I denied that because I was brought up with such confusion about religion and all that. And I don't believe in
true.
organized religion. Yeah, it's like my parents were really drilling it into me, like there is no God, they would say, but my mother was spiritual at the same time. So like I think she was a little confused, and as she got older she would say like, yes,
Mm,
I do believe in like, I didn't understand it when I was a kid, the idea of like a collective consciousness or like everybody being part of one thing and all that. Like she definitely believed that. She just didn't believe in like the Judeo-Christian idea and like that God who would punish people, and it's like this man who's
of
going to
course.
all this stuff like that, you
I
know?
grew up in that. I grew up fearing God, so I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, the God fearing. Yeah. And I think with the Jewish religion, it's like God is a really not a nice, not a nice guy. Really
Right?
punish, you
Yeah,
know,
you get punished. You're gonna be struck by lightning. You're going to hell.
yeah, like having, I don't even know the biblical stories enough, but like having certain people would have to kill and do all these things to test and to prove that they're now, yeah, I don't remember the stories. Like
I
prove
get
their
it.
loyalty to him and whatever, all kinds of stuff like that.
Yep, I kind of was raised in a way like that too. I completely get it, and I think that's one of the big thing that affected my mental health too. And I find that having those conversations and also sharing what we experience, it helps too with the mental health and anxiety and all this, that we feel supported. And it's yeah, I find that it's really helpful for the mental health. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. There's a real so yes, like I used to think like, oh, I don't know anything about like prayer or whatever. In a way, this is a sort of a prayer, but it's actually connecting with the universe. It's whatever you want to look at it, and there's a lot of comfort in it. And
exactly.
I'm breaking those earlier beliefs that my parents sort of drilled into me and starting to understand the comfort that does come with believing in something higher than yourself, whatever that is.
Exactly. In a way, it's like you're connecting with yourself too because you're working on your chakras. So it's like you're reconnecting yourself and your own matrix, we would say, or dimension, your own energy, and at the same time you're connecting with the universe, or yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, and I don't even think it's necessarily that something's higher than us, but there's just maybe they have more of an awareness, but we're still part of that. So,
Exactly.
no, yeah,
Yes, well said. Oh, I love this conversation.
it's great.
I know we went past the time, but I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
Is there anything else you wanted to mention? Final words?
I don't know. I just that I'll look for the link to Jaya's information so you can share it because you can read, people can read more about what I was talking about. And yeah, and if anyone has questions about my experience, I'm happy to expand on it, in the post if anyone wants to ask about anything. But I think that's about it. It's a great conversation. Also, I want to say okay, so one more thing. I think that not being afraid, and we touched on this a little bit, I think something you said made me think of this, not being afraid to share, like, yeah, we may be afraid, or me, I'm going to speak for myself, that people might think this is crazy or it's weird or whatever. But that's our experience, and that's how we attract people who are also able to see things in a similar way or to appreciate. Because there's many different ways of believing, and we have like this sort of surface, superficial, cultural understanding. And I think most of us were brought up to, especially, if you're like in your 30s, 40s, 50s, well, any age really, 50s. I mean, now I think the younger generation might have more of an expanded viewpoint on things. Maybe they're being taught to look at things more in a more expanded way, but it was very, very traditional, like it's got to be this way on the surface. And I'm still working on that, breaking through. And I think it's important. Basically, this is all to say it's important to speak your truth. I think that is, as for mental health, it is so important to not hold it inside and be afraid of being judged. And maybe as there was some kind of saying, like if your voice shakes, but still it's important to say it, because then
Say
once
it.
you do it one time,
Yes.
say it, and then you're going to get more comfortable like speaking your truth.
Well said. Oh, wow. Well said. It's basically what I've been ex experiencing too. Like, it's true. I have to keep speaking my truth. We have to keep speaking your truth. And we'll just attract the people that resonate. And yeah, some people may not resonate. It's because there's all types of different humans on this planet, different types of stuff happening in this dimension, and
Yes.
not everybody will resonate with what something said. And the way you were brought up as a kid and the way I was brought up as a kid, there's probably things that, yeah, we were drilled some stuff in our mind as kids not to believe certain things, and it kind of made us suppress part of ourselves. In my case, that was it. But now it's like, no, okay, it's time to open the door. This is truly me. This is what I believe. This is what resonates with me, and this is the experience I've had with this type of spiritual path or this lifestyle, and I just want to share that message to people that resonate with it. So yes, well said. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're doing an incredible job sharing it. Thank you so much for having had me to chat with you, having this available for everybody. It's super important. It's just amazing to be able to openly speak about all of this stuff.
Thank you so much, Cecilia, too. I've really enjoyed our talk with this, and looking forward to have more chats with you and perhaps maybe others too. I mean, maybe Elena,
Yeah, that would be great.
Alicia. Yeah,
Love to see those.
yes, definitely. So
Yeah,
yes, we'll definitely do that again. So thank you so much for coming in, Cecilia,
you're
and
welcome.
I will see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.